Hello, my name is Greg Lehman. Welcome to Moonbeams. My guest today is Maud Lavin. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And I know you just told me how to say your last name, and just to make sure I got it right, if you could repeat it one more time for me.
It's Lavin.
Lavin, Lavin,
Yeah.
Lavin. Thank you so much for joining me, Maud.
Okay.
But yeah, so we were talking, before I hit record right now, and you're really ready to go with the new collection. It's very exciting. It's your first full-length collection, and you said, "Here, I'll read you a quick poem from it." And I said, "Let's go ahead and press record." So please, if you could tell us just a little bit about the book first, and then go ahead and read this poem.
Yeah, it's swim lessons. It's coming out September 2nd from Tulipwood Books in Seattle. And it has a lot to do with water and Lake Michigan and the Great Lakes and other flows. And yeah, I'm just going to read a real short poem that's on the back. Okay, because we were talking about the sensual aspects of running in your case and swimming in mine. Okay, being held. The ferocious, beautiful lake is also a hugger across 22,300 square feet of surface in the water below. When it's gentle, when I'm in the water, near the shore, its waves push at me, my gyroscope rights me. I lean restfully into the water's motion. It laps me, my skin surfaces, embracing me. I push against it and repeat and stroke and am stroked. What is swimming, if not trading caresses and ease?
Yes. Oh, thank you so much.
Right? You understand that motion. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I got to interview Kelly Agadan a short time ago, and she does paddleboarding actually. And
Hmm.
she shared that sometimes lines will come to her while she's out paddling, and she'll repeat the line to herself. I have an advantage being on land. Like I could do audio notes when lines come to me. I'm wondering, do lines come to you while you're swimming? And if so, how do you go about transcribing those later on?
Um, I partly love swimming, especially in the lake, which is an inland sea, right? It's enormous. Um, because I stopped thinking. Yeah, so I'm a little bit of a workaholic and have been all my life. So I just, the lake is gorgeous. It's also dangerous. You have to pay attention and and it just is all encompassing. So yeah, partly the reason I swim there and do lap swimming in pools is not to think. Yeah.
Gotcha. So it's completely set apart, and then it's reflecting later that you come to poetry,
Mm,
write about this.
yeah,
Yeah. Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you so much again for that. So we'll go ahead and dive into the questions I have.
great. Yeah.
What is exciting you most about poetry at the moment?
Um, yeah, I looked at your questions beforehand. I really liked them. And I think that what excites me, so I run a reading series in the South Loop of Chicago. This is our seventh year. And I take writing very personally and I get excited about individual poets. And Chicago has an amazing literary scene and people coming through Chicago. I nab people who travel through. You're welcome. Let me know when you'll be here. I know you've interviewed Taylor Byas. I love her work. So, in terms of the scene and what's exciting, I'm excited about Taylor's work. I just love the way she marries like this formal rigor and exploration with deep feeling and some socio-political commentary. Um, just love it. Sam Herschel Ween, queer poetry that's deeply felt and deeply sexual. Chen Chen's poetry, Noah Fields. Noah calls herself an eco-deviant and uses hearing aids and is also trans and is very deconstructive with sound. Um, I mean, there's so many people. Calvin Forbes um, was one of the first, was a good friend and one of the first poets to inspire me. So that's how I get excited, within the scene is by an individual production, individual poets, individual poems.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's a wonderful list. And yeah, Dr. Taylor is, she's a national treasure. And she's also that's the second time that another one of my guests has referred to her too. And that's the most out of anybody here. So she's very popular and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
her work is important and she was very generous and sweet in my time with her. So excellent, excellent list there. Um,
Smart.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, so next question. Which poets were most impactful in getting you to become a poet?
Yeah, I thought about this. So Calvin, um, I taught I was a professor at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago for 22 years. And I practically lived there. And Calvin also was a professor there. We had offices near each other. And right towards the beginning of my time there, I went to a reading, and Calvin was one of the people. I didn't know him except by sight. And he stands up and he's reading from his Shine poems. And I was just like, wow, really. So that was excited. And that was the start of our friendship. And it was the start of also me seeing poetry as really um, multidimensional. I had thought of it as kind of sequestered before. Um, and so Calvin, um, I was a fan of Sharon Olds. And then when I was thinking about your question, I was thinking in general, because I have a PhD in art history, right? And some of my books are art historical books, although I also always wrote for general audience too, and bragging. I have a New York Times book review notable book and all that stuff. So
Yeah, you
I
do.
was, yeah, I do. So I was no stranger to reaching out through writing, but still it came up through academia. And in terms of trying different forms and deeply getting involved in different forms, Edward Said. Edward Said, Palestinian literary critic and activist, and taught at Columbia University, of course. He wrote about getting beyond the audience of 2000, just the 2000 academics who all read each other's stuff, and how important it is to reach out beyond that. And that changed my life. That changed my life. That was when I was still in grad school. And I was in New York City, and that got me like starting to go to readings in New York and think about writing as an activating and creative force. Yeah.
Outstanding. Just to pull that thread, so I'll show my free Gaza bracelet here.
Yeah.
And then I'll also like, to
Yeah.
underline our Palestinian writers and activists. I am listening to Rafat Al-Rier's Shakespeare series, which is available on YouTube. He taught Shakespeare and he's got a channel on YouTube. I urge everyone to check it out. I'll share the link with you as well.
Yeah, please do.
But yes, at this time, underlining our Palestinian, you know,
Mhm.
everybody there, but especially our writers who speak to a very special time and place. So thank you so much for that. Um, but yeah, and a great list beyond that as well. But so moving on here, if you could change something about how culture views poetry today, what would it be?
Well, it connects to the side thing about reaching out. Um, I still think poetry is a little sequestered and can have this connotation about being somewhat drab, and it's not. And a lot of poets are incredible performers. Um, so I wish, more people knew that it's fun. And I like Noah works at the Poetry Foundation, and she says she taught me the phrase genre porous. And I think also like, mixing poetry with other forms of writing is a good idea too. And with performance, overtly with performance, that these are ways that emphasize the liveliness and the fun of it, and not just the kind of in the corner aspect of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great answer. And if you could share a recent line of poetry that you found remarkable.
Um, okay, I'm going to read from my own book again. I'm
Yeah.
excited that it's coming out. Okay, and I'm just going to read one. This is this is the last. Nice design, right? Lynne, Ellis, and AJ did the design. Okay, this is the last verse of the first poem about hanging out in the Midwest. My close held hush, I grew up in the Midwest, right in its small town, small heart, its expansive cornfields, its long green summers. It taught me to love hanging out, to blow up boredom like a balloon.
Mm,
And I'm I'm proud of that. Yeah.
I love that.
So, and there's plenty of lines in other people's poems too. In addition to the people I've already mentioned, I want to mention Felita Hicks, Alina Stefanescu, who has a new book out, Deepika Mukherjee, Moises Flores, Faisal Mohyuddin. These are all Chicago area. Oh no, Alina's in Alabama, but everybody else is in Chicago area. So it's just very, again, I get involved in each person's production. And like my reading series is unusual because I have people back, people who I'm excited about. I will like wait 6 months and then invite them back because I want to see how they're progressing. I like, their whole involvement is interesting to me. Yeah.
I'd say those are the most interesting stories we have is, connecting with somebody on a shared passion and
Hmm.
supporting where you can and then checking in to show that you care and to help them along however possible.
I'm greedy. I mean, I'm checking in because I want to hear more, right? Yeah. I'm not that nice, right? I want them back because I want to, it's fun just to see where people are, where they're going. Yeah.
Certainly. And you have a rich community there. Like I enjoy the same privileges here in Los Angeles. We have a very,
Yeah.
very deep bench of different communities with tons of different representations across different backgrounds. And
Yeah.
it's a joy to be a part of that and a privilege because a lot of places don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And poetry is also good because like everybody writes poetry.
Yeah.
Everybody. And it's a cottage industry production. You don't have to have a ton of time off work. You don't have to have expensive film equipment. Like, it's wide open. And wow, I love that. That's really, really interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the benefits, and that's probably, I would say one of the reasons it's one of the oldest, art forms we have. It's because you don't really need other means to carry it along, like a film,
Yeah.
or even a song, you would, sometimes we don't know what the tones are, but as long as we could translate the words, like they're gonna last as long as there's people to read them,
Mhm.
and it's cheap.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Um, well, Maud, thank you again so much. And you said the date for the release is September 2nd, right, for the book?
Oh, yeah, the book comes out September 2nd, and I want to invite everybody who's in the Chicago area to Printers Row Wine and the South Loop. We're having the book launch party in the form of a reading. It's Wednesday night, September 3rd, 6:30 plus. We've got Tim Motor coming down from outside Duluth and Anne Marie Ullman from Traverse City. Lynne Ellis is coming in from Seattle. Okay. And yeah,
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I'll bump this up then and get out your interview before then, so to help promote a little bit.
yes, please. And we'll have special treats from Irma at Tropicake Filipino Bakery in the South Loop. So, yeah. And I want to put in a plug for age diversity too before we wrap. Like I said, this is my ninth book, but it's my first full-length poetry collection. I turned 70 this year. So this is something else I love about the lit world, and I hope it stays open this way, like kind of have to put in energy to keep it open. Very young, older, it's something that I love about the whole lit scene. And a lot of times I'm the oldest person at a reading, but I just keep showing up, and I love that about it too.
Thank you
Yeah.
for underlining that too. I have no patience for any gatekeepers. I want everybody to be involved to the best of their ability, I'm very proud to have you on here and be able to platform your work, your words, and help keep that going in my
And
way.
I'm proud to be in dialogue with you.
Thank you so much. Well, Maud, thanks again for your time and energy and everything you're doing to be a community builder in Chicago, but in the literary scene overall. I really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Outstanding.